It was during his third-party presidential campaign that a man in the crowd shot him in the chest and he died. Kidding. Bullet passed through a steel eyeglass case and 50 sheets of paper, but yeah, it definitely pierced the skin. So he begrudgingly tells the crowd,
"Sorry, friends, but I've just been shot, so I'll have to keep this short."
30 minutes later,
"Because I believe the American people can decide for themselves, not now."
Hello guys,
Hi everyone,
I'm Waldemar,
and I'm Weronika.
and today we are watching a video about the manliest president in a history of America.
Yes.
And apparently it's Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, so...
Some of you might be disappointed, but that's about Roosevelt.
I found this video in the recommendations by you when we have the reaction for the epic rap battle.
Yeah, the one that I mistook for...
Well,
I mistook the Roosevelts.
Yeah, the one that was Theodore Roosevelt versus Churchill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got the Roosevelts wrong, and someone was very helpful and dropped this video for us so that we can actually learn more about the right, in that context, Roosevelt. So I thought we could give it a watch.
Yeah, well, what we do know about Roosevelt, we know about national parks,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, we know he has 6 burns.
Yeah, and something about the Boy Scouts. I think he was a Boy Scout, or he
He was supporting the Boy Scouts.
or he started the Boy Scouts.
Oh yeah, maybe that one. I don't know.
Something about the Boy Scouts. So there's that. And also I know him from the comic book about Scrooge McDuck.
He features there?
I read it when I was very young, and then there Scrooge McDuck meets Theodore Roosevelt on 2 occasions. One before he was a president and one after he already was. So that was my first introduction to Theodore Roosevelt.
That's not the best, the worst one.
Yeah, so let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
how can I give an accurate picture of just how manly this man is? Okay, do you remember those Chuck Norris facts that were popular like 10 years ago?
There are 10 million people in the world of Warcraft because Chuck Norris allows them to live.
Turns out they were invented for Teddy Roosevelt.
Ooh.
Nice introduction.
This episode is sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. Free stuff at the end of the video. Now, young Teddy was actually a sickly
This video is sponsored by us.
Yes.
I wonder when people are saying that often. Like, this video is sponsored by me. Like, how does this work? You
No,
need
I
to pay yourself to record this video?
I think they usually say it when they want to plug in their own content, like a merch.
Yeah.
or something,
But it's like, okay.
sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. Free stuff at the end of the video. Now, young Teddy was actually a sickly kid with terrible asthma, but by age 7 he was already a hunter and a museum curator. It all started when he got a discarded seal head from the local market and proceeded to spend the next 2 years killing any living thing he could get his hands on and stuffing them in his bedroom. He then
That
grew
is
up to
very
be a
manly.
gentleman and a scholar, graduating Harvard magna cum laude and becoming a published historian and ornithologist on top of joining the rowing and boxing
Ornithologist?
teams. Now, crippling asthma wasn't good for such an intrepid young man, so he overcame it with sheer force of will. His doctors told him, "Hello, Theodore. Yes, I wanted to inform you that you shouldn't be doing anything that might trigger your asthma. It could have serious adverse effects on your health, potentially leading..."
Gotta stop you right there, Chief. Live fast, die young. Know what I'm saying?
Where are you right now? But things weren't all alpine sunshine. Shortly after his daughter was born, his mother died of fever.
Thank God I have you for support, honey. Where's...
I wonder if this was a real story with this mountain, or it was just like a...
I took it as a joke, but I suppose he was doing other things. I don't know. He was really kayaking or...
Because, it's not just about the physical exercise, climbing the mountains, when there is so little of oxygen.
Yeah, the concentration is low.
That's something. And I understand something now. From where we know Theodore Roosevelt too?
Where?
Night at the Museum. Robin Williams is playing him in the Night at the Museum.
Right. But you know what? I've last seen this movie when it came out, I think, when I was like 6 or 7, so I don't really...
Me too, but I watched it a lot of times.
Ah, yeah, I only saw it once.
By the way, Weronika thought that Robin Williams and the Robbie Williams, the singer, are the same person. And just like 2 weeks ago, she found out that there are 2 people.
Yeah, and it was 2 weeks after we have watched the stand-up of Robbie Williams. And actually, why would you make it so complicated, though? Just choose a different name. Just choose an alias. I don't know.
They have a different name. It's Robin and Robbie. Okay.
Alice.
And so Roosevelt makes like Batman and vows to fight for justice. He becomes a politician in New York City, sniffing out corruption and running up against party leaders. Until soon he became a party leader, until soon he lost support. So he did the next best thing and became a cowboy, moved to Dakota and dropped 14 grand on a cattle ranch. Again, he displays his mastery of the art of manliness in a local saloon when a man with a gun trots in and orders a round for the house on Teddy. So Teddy socks him in the jaw and knocks him senseless. Teddy Roosevelt brought a fist to a gunfight and won. Satisfied with his time in the frontier, and also because a bad winter killed all his cows, he returned to New York, this time setting out to reform the police force so that his men were manly and not using the NYPD as a cushy political job. Speaking of political jobs, Teddy made campaign speeches for McKinley and now he's Assistant Secretary of the Navy. But Teddy didn't believe in cushy. He took on most of the duties of his boss and started advocating to kick Spain out of Cuba. And the president agreed, but he wanted to kick Spain out diplomatically. And then the Maine blew up. McKinley, to his credit, was still trying to de-escalate the situation, but yeah, that didn't happen.
Roosevelt, I'm afraid we're going to war.
One step ahead of you, Chief. Also, I quit.
What?
Can't waste an opportunity to fight on the front lines. Yeah!
And fight he did, going above and beyond anything he was
that,
ordered to. So now he's an ornithologist, a historian, a cowboy, police chief, politician, and a war hero. Just the
God,
kind
I
of
can't even
person
keep
party
on, John.
boss Tom Platt needs to nominate.
But it's a shame that we haven't watched this video before because he reminds me a lot of Winston Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, that's why they did this matchup.
Yeah.
Because Churchill was the same. He was born in like a high-class family, but he also wanted life of an adventure. So he went to war. He fought in the war, and he was like he was riding on a white horse because he wanted his enemies to see him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember what you said when we were watching the epic rap battle that you weren't sure why they even paired them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's clear.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Nominate for governor of New York. And Teddy cinches the election. Heck, he was on such a roll, maybe he could even be president someday. And then the vice president dies, and Teddy's friends tell him, hey, you should run for VP. Teddy says no, because the VP does nothing, and then he gets a message from McKinley saying,
Just so you know, you're not allowed to be my VP.
but then,
Hear ye, hear ye! Vote Roosevelt for VP at the Republican Convention!
yes, it turns out the party boss who helped put Teddy in the governor's office now wants him out of office. He and his party boss friends run Roosevelt's entire campaign without him, put him on the ballot against the president's wishes, and he won unanimously. So he and McKinley win the
Imagine
election,
that.
and now he's vice president. And then McKinley dies. Whoops. And look, his presidency is a video unto itself. He broke up trusts, he made national parks, he made it so that food has to be edible and drugs can't kill you, he helped promote a federal income tax and an 8-hour workday, he passed nearly as
Cool.
many executive orders as the previous 25 presidents combined, and he panned a man Panama Plans canal. The man's face is on a mountain next to the guy who won the Civil War and two of the guys who made the country. Let us just take a moment and acknowledge his legacy. And now let's move on to the fun stuff. It's 1908, and Teddy chooses not to run for a third term. Instead, he installs his friend Taft.
I wonder how it works, by the way, because I don't know, to be honest. Because when you in America, you have a president and a vice president, right?
Mhm.
Right? And when one of them dies, then there is no election, just vice president.
Becomes
They-
president.
Yeah. But does the time starts running from the start and he serves for 8 years? Or if the previous president served 3 years and died, then the vice president only serves for 1 year.
Oh, that's a very good question. I never thought about it. I mean, I thought about it, but I don't know. I would assume that they are kind of a package deal. So if you have only 100 days left in the office, then you only have 100 days
Yeah,
left in the
I think
office.
so. Because then
But how does that? I'm just wondering, how does that affect your ability to be re-elected? I guess then you can only be re-elected once, even though you would not, or can you be re-elected thrice?
I mean, there were presidents that were elected 3 times.
There were?
Roosevelt, but the other Roosevelt,
Oh, okay.
for example.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it has to work like that. That the one president serves for 3 years, and the other one, if he needs to replace him, only serves 1 year.
I
Because on the other way, you could just kill the president every 4 years and have like 200 years of democratic rule or
Yeah.
republican rule.
I think in Poland it would be different because we have more separation of the power, but because in the in my impression that is that it because in the United States the power is all with the president and the president is tied to the political party, then you would have that political party running for 4 years longer. He's not just in the office; he's also tied to the political party, so it wouldn't be fair, I suppose, if just because he died, I don't know, of cancer or something, you get to be in power longer. You have to have the democratic election.
Yeah.
In Poland, it could be different, right? Because it doesn't have to.
But we don't have vice presidents.
Yeah, but if we did.
As basically 08, and Teddy chooses not to run for a third term. Instead, he installs his friend Taft as basically a younger version of himself, and runs off to Africa where he kills 11,000 animals and brings their bodies to the Smithsonian. When he gets back, it turns out Taft isn't Teddy Roosevelt 2.0, so Teddy starts rethinking that third term. But Republicans aren't about to give up their incumbent president for someone who was only supposed to be VP. So Teddy makes his own party. It was during his third-party presidential campaign that a man in the crowd shot him in the chest and he died. Kidding. Bullet passed through a steel eyeglass case and 50 sheets of paper, but yeah, it definitely pierced the skin. So he begrudgingly tells the crowd,
Sorry, friends, but I've just been shot, so I'll have to keep this short.
30 minutes later,
Because I believe the American people can decide for themselves, not now.
another hour later,
And that, friends, is why you should vote progressive. All right, you can help me down now. I'm feeling kind of dizzy.
despite all that, he ended up splitting the vote because
He sounds like a character from those Fat Electrician videos.
Right, yeah, the
The most gangster
the most
president
gangster
ever.
Maybe there is a video coming like that.
first past the post is a terrible system and Wilson won instead. So what does a man like Teddy Roosevelt do in a time like this? He explores an uncharted river in the treacherous depths of the Amazon. On this charming trip, one guy dies, one guy gets murdered, and one guy gets left for dead. And Teddy gets an infection so bad he starts reciting another man's fever dream. Then one of the most traumatic and devastating conflicts in human history popped up, and 58-year-old Teddy spotted an opportunity to relive his glory days. He wrote to the government saying,
Ooh, put me in, Chief. I can take him.
and he got permission from Congress, but Wilson was a total buzzkill and said no. Then Teddy developed some breathing trouble, his doctor made him feel better, and then death came for him in his sleep so he could avoid getting roundhoused in the face. Okay, free stuff. You want more Teddy? Boom, conservationism, life lessons, all on the Great Courses Plus with their umpteen thousand other courses. But low-key, they've also got these how-to lessons that I've been watching every night, and like... That's not terrible. Plus they've got chop and gourmet baking and am I making cream puffs for dessert tonight? Probably not, but I'll be damned if this isn't the most wholesome, relaxing thing to come home to. So if you want a free trial of the full thing, go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/Jack Rackam or click the link in the description. So long and thanks for all the fish.
Cool, right?
Very
Thank you
cool.
for the recommendation.
Not,
I really like
not
that.
as informative as I would hope.
Yeah, but it was more like fun facts.
He didn't explain anything. Like he said that Woodrow Wilson was a buzzkill, and like okay, and you see them marching out of the front lines, and that's it. You don't know anything else.
Yeah, it was not very informative. I feel like it might have been more aimed at people who either don't want to find out or already know a lot. But it was fun, and now I have more of a picture of him.
Yeah, that's true. That's what it did. It created like a picture.
I really do wish we have seen this before the rap battle.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
would have
definitely.
appreciated a lot of the birds more.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to know more, about, especially when he said that he made the food edible and make sure that you cannot eat poisons.
Yeah, and the drugs that they were regulated. I would be very curious to find out about that because I know you guys are not doing so well on that front currently, even so.
Yeah, when he said that, I wanted to say like, oh, so he's like European Union.
Yeah. Fun fact: we actually, when we go to the store, we don't really have to check the ingredients because the ingredients that can kill you are just not in the food.
I mean, I don't think that
Not
in
kill
United
you,
States
but you know, it's more like
you are like, oh, so this is with the arsenic and this is without the arsenic.
cyanide. No, but you know what I mean.
Arsenic is not a word?
It is, I think. Arsenic. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Very nice video. And like I said, he reminds me of Churchill a lot. And that's now I understand this pair up. And also, what he did at the front lines at the age of 58 on the World War I cannot understand.
Yeah. Some people are just...
Shapoba, naprawdę, really.
Yeah, it's like, when we were watching the video about the cicada and you said that some people are just made differently because they can figure out all these riddles and they have such intelligence that they seem almost a different species. That's also a different species, I think, of people who are so motivated and they are able to do so. They seem to have twice the amount of time that all of us do and like 5 times the amount of motivation. And I really, really... envy maybe is not the good word, but I kind of do.
How can someone do so much during one lifetime?
Yeah.
To be a president and also kill 11,000 animals?
Yeah, and then not that that's exactly my dream, but then there's us, and you have a full-time job. Then we do this, and then I'm like, oh, I have to do laundry as well. How's that possible? Meanwhile, Roosevelt is like, oh, and fun fact about the bird, and let me fight in World War I and introduce reforms. Yeah.
Right. Thank you guys for watching this video with us. It was a very nice video.
Thank you for your
recommendation. If you have similar recommendations, leave them in the comment section.
Yes, please.
And as always, we have reactions every day. So if you want to watch them and not miss some of them, because you can miss some of them, but don't miss all of them.
Don't miss all of them. And to help you with that, you can subscribe and do the notification bell thingy. And, since you're already clicking, you could also leave us a like and all of that. It would be great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.